Hi guys, Archibald Chesterfield III, international YouTube celebrity. Now, I'm doing some reviews on the Paul Pluta channel. He's the, I'm the method actor who plays that goofy buffoon. And remember, like, subscribe, tell your friends. Look in the description for 10 ways you can keep me full-time on YouTube, because man cannot live on Google Ads alone. Now, we're doing a paid review for Chris. Dear Archie, I've been a fan for many years now, and I wanted to get your opinion on the pieces I currently have in my collection. I am 37 years old and am self-employed. Good on you, good on you. Better to have your own work. Don't ever be a drone if you can avoid it. I currently own an Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, Omega Seamaster Professional 2531.80, and a vintage Rolex Oyster Perpetual 1002. I've owned these for some time now and think I am ready to flip the Seamaster and the Rolex and purchase either a stainless Rolex Submariner or Explorer 2. I am a collector who also takes into account my return on investment. I wanted to get your opinion on which Rolexes you feel I have the best potential upswing. I always buy pre-owned pieces. I've sent you $30 via PayPal. Please do not use my last name in the video. Thanks in advance, Chris. Very interesting question. Look, I would say this is a look. I would say to you, you're asking a few questions there. I'd say, yep, fair enough. Put it on a forum or Craigslist. You're going to sell your Omega Seamaster, and you're going to sell your vintage Oyster Perpetual 1002. Have a look on have a look on Chrono24 to get an idea of some pricing. That's what people are selling them for. Doesn't mean you get that. That's what dealers are selling them for secondhand. Gives you a bit of a price indicator. Yeah, I agree. I think, look, the Speedmaster Man on the Moon, that's a great watch. Yeah, I can see you could sell the Seamaster and the Rolex. Yeah, you may have to put I don't know. It depends. American market is strange. The Explorer 2s tend to be a little bit cheaper than the subbies. A little bit cheaper, a thousand or two, a little bit cheaper. I'm a collector who takes into account return on investment. I want your opinion on which Rolexes you feel have the best potential upswing. Look, that's a good question. Okay, if I knew the answer to that, do you think I'd live in my shitty house, in my shitty suburb, with my shitty car? Well, okay, let's be honest there. I think, honestly, the answer is this. You want to get bang per buck. You want to buy something that has potential upswing. I don't necessarily believe new Rolexes, going into a dealer, buying a ceramic sub. Yes, you could buy that today, 10, 20 years time. You'll probably get your money back. But the value of that money has shrunk because you've got inflation, which is... The new Rolex in 20 years' time is going to be a lot more expensive. So I think bang per buck, what I would be looking for, I think there's a thing called the sweet spot. The sweet spot is Rolex Steel Sports and some two-tone steel and gold sports from the 80s, 90s, and noughties. That period there. So it's at least it's coming up to 10 years old. Okay, at least 10-year-old pieces. So I really think pieces from that period are great buy because they are modern enough to have sapphire, have nicer bracelets, solid end links, things like that there. Some of them even have no holes cases. But they are old enough so that the initial wankers who bought them, they've gone out of them, they've flipped, they've got newer things that they're horological trollops they're playing with. So in my opinion, those pieces they're new enough to be reliable and usable. The other thing you want to do is get in touch with a decent watchmaker. You need, if you're buying and selling watches, you need to have a decent watchmaker in tow. You cannot send it to Rolex. They will kill you on the price. You're not going to make any money if you start doing dumb things like that. So Kenny Nguyen, Jewelers on Time, he's a great contact. He does repairs and service. Obviously, you're going to have to get the watch checked. Any Submariner you buy, you'd have to get it checked before you took it in water to make sure the seals, the little bit of rubber, the gaskets, that's what keeps the water out. Big part of keeping the water out. So, yes. Now, I would say to you, I would buy classic pieces, the pieces which are classic. So, you know, I've always said buy the icons, the classic pieces. For example, the Submariner, the GMT, the Explorer, the classic pieces, the Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon, classic piece. Classic Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverser, classic piece. These are the icons. These are the, when you think of what's the most, you look at a brand and say, what are the most iconic watches this brand produces? Patek Philippe, you're looking at a gold watch on a leather strap. Okay, the Nautilus is cool too, 5711, but that's big. Well, actually, it's in Kui. I like a complicated. That's what Patek does. They do Patek. They do dress gold on a leather strap. That's what Patek does. So look at a brand and what do they do? What do they do? Omega Steel Sports, Rolex Steel Sports, and Two-Tone Sports. I got to tell you some really good buys on some two-tone sports from the 90s and 80s because they don't have, you know, they're a little bit on the outer there. That's some great pickup there. I would say to you, you've got to buy classic, iconic, Steel Sports, Rolex, you can't go wrong. I'd try and buy from that time period. I think, you know, someone came to me and said, you know, what would you do if you had $20,000 to spend? So what do? Do you go and buy a Daytona, ceramic Daytona on the secondary market? You're going to be paying over retail. Do you buy the new red Sea Dweller, the 43 mil Sea Dweller? Do you buy for $20,000? Do you buy a say a Batman and a no date ceramic sub? Would you do that? What would you do if you had $20,000 US to spend? Or would you say, okay, this is what I'd buy if I had $20,000? I'd say, okay, get myself a pre-ceramic Submariner, date, no date, or Sea Dweller. I'd get myself 40 mil Explorer 2. Okay. I'd get myself an Omega Speedmaster Man on the Moon. I'd get myself maybe a, you want to look at things, the GMT is a little bit hot, but something like the Milgauss, you could possibly say, I'll get a 10-year-old one of them. I'd look at the icons, the iconic watches. That's what I think is the important thing to do. So I would say, you know, you could look at Datejust are a little bit. I'd put one in the mix if you had 20,000, you'd put one of those in the mix. Yeah, Datejust, you know, they're a 16234. That's the steel with the white gold bezel. You know, these are kind of good, solid keepers. I reckon that mix would be better than buying a new one at 20. Now, you don't, it's a hard thing to say there, but hey, that's my opinion. I think these used pieces, they're not making pre-ceramic Rolexes anymore. Okay, so they're not going to be making new ones. The ceramics, that's current model. So that's my opinion. That's what I would be doing. So I think you got a great, it's nice to see you're a working man who's enjoying his watches and loves his watches. Don't ever sell the Speedy. Speedy's a great piece. Yeah, I approve you to sell that. You can sell the Seamaster and the 1002, the Oyster Perpetual. Let's sell those. Get a sports Rolex. That'd be cool. Great two-piece combo deal. And I reckon you've hit it on the head. You've really hit it on the head. You're going to get a Submariner or an Explorer 2. And then the next watch is either the one you didn't get, the Submariner, or the Explorer 2. No brainer at all, Chris. It's good to see you doing your homework, doing well. This gives me faith. I had another moron who asked me, should he sell his his ceramic sub and his modern two-tone 116233 date just, and traded in on a two-tone bluesy Submariner. I said, hey, that's just a man who's not thinking. That's just a dumbass. Whereas with you bought them, been smart and wise, scrimp and save. I can see, and I give you the green light. You are not a retail moron. You are knowing what you're doing. You're being very sensible. I'm very proud of you, son. I'm very proud. Hold out. You get a fair price. It's going good. I'm Paul Pluta, the method actor who plays Archibald Chesterfield III. Tell me what you guys think of that. Paddock World Time.